Conrad, attention, present order. Conrad, join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Oh, stand at ease.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does the star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Everyone can be seated. At this time, I'm going to bring our National Council of Administration representative here to introduce the VFW to you. Thank you.
Can you hear me? Okay. Mayor Seaver, council members, members of the police and fire departments, and guests, welcome. I want to first thank our VFW Auxiliary President, Rennell, for inviting me here tonight. President Rennell asked me to speak to you about the VFW, the Veterans of Foreign Wars. There's so much to tell you about the VFW, but I will touch on just some of the highlights. The Veterans of Foreign Wars United States is a nonprofit organization comprised of eligible veterans and military service members from the active, Guard, and Reserve forces. We trace our roots back to 1899, when the veterans of the Spanish-American War, 1898, and the Philippine Insurrection, 1899 to 1902, founded local organizations to secure rights and benefits for their service. Many arrived home wounded. There was no medical care or veterans' pensions for them, and they were left to care for themselves. In their misery, some of the veterans banded together and formed organizations that will eventually band together and become known as the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States. After chapters were formed in Ohio, Colorado, and Pennsylvania, the movement quickly gained momentum. Today, membership stands at more than 1.4 million members of the VFW and Auxiliary, comprising of 5,800 VFW posts across the nation. Our vote was instrumental in establishing the Veterans Administration, the VA, development of the National Cemetery System, like we have at Great Lakes National Cemetery, in the fight for compensation for the Vietnam veterans exposed to Agent Orange, and for veterans diagnosed with Gulf War syndrome. In 2008, we won a long-fought victory with the passing of the GI Bill for the 21st century, given expanded educational benefits for America's active duty service members and members of the Guards and Reserve fighting in Iraq and Afghanistan. We were the driving force behind the Veterans Access and Accountability Act of 2014 and continue to fight for improved VA medical centers, services for both men and women. The VFW legislative advocacy efforts were also the driving force behind the passage of the 2019 Blue Water Navy Veterans Act and the passage of the 2022 Honoring Our Pact Act, which the VFW considers one of the most significant pieces of veterans legislation in history. These are just some of the history and accomplishments of the Veterans of Foreign Wars. We also have many programs in the VFW which we are very proud of in our community. Our youth program consists of the Patriots Pen Grow program for our middle school students, which they write a 300-word essay on a theme that has to do with veterans. Our Voice of Democracy program for our high school students, which is also a 300-word essay, but they have to tape it on a flash drive or a CD, and that's how they're graded. And finally, we have the Teacher of the Year Award for our elementary, middle school, and high school teachers. The VFW also honors the Policeman of the Year, the Firefighter of the Year, and the EMT or Emergency Medical Technician of the Year. Tonight, the Southfield VFW is honoring our Public Servant Award Law Enforcement, which is our own police chief, Elvin Barren. We are grateful to all of our Southfield first responders who are not with us tonight, the police, the firefighters, and emergency medical technicians. No community can exist without you. My thank you. The men and women who wear the uniforms maintain the law and bring security and safety to every person in our Southfield community and across the nation. Again, we need you. First responders are the backbone of emergency response services. Gratitude is what comes to the mind when we think of those who serve in this capacity, and emergency responders deserve recognition for their dedicated service. As a VFW member, I speak for more than 1.4 million VFW and auxiliary members when I say we salute all of you for the outstanding work you do in making America a better and safer place in which to live. We commend you for all you do, for your integrity, your professionalism, and your uninterrupted commitment to communities across the nation. Chief Elvin, you and I have something in common. Both of us served in the U.S. Navy.
Right.
Go Navy. And both of us are graduates from Central Michigan University. You received your bachelor's degree, and I received my master's degree. Congratulations, Chief Elvin, on this award. I wish you the very best, and I hope you become a finalist at our VFW State Convention in Flint, Michigan in June. Thank you again for your dedication as first responders, all of you here, from the Veterans of Foreign Wars and the Auxiliary of Southfield, Michigan. Chief Barren and Chief Manafee, I hope we can continue honoring our policemen, our firefighter, and our emergency medical technician next year and every year afterwards. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm not sure if you can hear me or not. What an honor, what a privilege. As I sat there at the last moment, being positioned to introduce Chief Barren, scrambling what to say. And there's so much to say. It's honestly so much that the impact that he's had for the Southfield Police Department, the impact he's had for the city of Southfield, the impact he's had for law enforcement as a whole is definitely unprecedented. It's absolutely remarkable. The intangible that he brings each and every day. He has a motto and a number of different philosophies, but one stands true and holds extremely bold, that being of courageous leadership. And if we have that at the head of an organization within law enforcement, then everything else goes right within the police department. What comes with the courageous leadership is transparency and accountability, and that's what he presents each and every day, and therefore makes our agency better, and therefore makes it that much better for our community and the visitors to our community. As you all know, he spent 21 years in Detroit, learning the ability to lead and guide an agency, and he's been with us nearly 5 years coming this July. So again, words don't do justice for the things that he's done, and the reason that he's here today to be honored with such a prestigious award as the First Responder of the Year. It couldn't go to a better chief of police, and I'm honored to introduce him, Chief Elvin Barren.
Making this presentation tonight is our scholarship chairman, Janora Egwabimi, and she'll make the presentation to Chief Barren.
This is an honor for me. I've looked at Chief Barren several years. He doesn't know that.
Speak in the microphone.
I've been out on his website and read his bio. And when we invited him to this function last year, I've checked out, what's he think, what's his mission, what kind of guy is this? I'm extremely proud of him, and he barely knows my name. So, and I know you all are too. He's a really good guy, and just the folks in this room, you guys are awesome. You guys probably touch each other 2 or 3 times a year. There isn't anybody in this room who has said one bad thing to us about the chief. Everybody here loves you. They love you. Not just like you. Not just like you, they love you. So he came to our mind about this award, and everybody would say, yes, yes, that's the right person. So I would like to present him with his awards now. This certificate, sir, says that Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States of America and its auxiliary present Elvin V. Barren, VFW Public Servant Award, in recognition of your accomplishments as Chief of Police, Southfield, Michigan, 2019 to 2024. In witness whereof we have hereunto set our hands and the official seal of the Veterans of Foreign Wars and the Auxiliary of the United States. Signed by the President and the 2 co-chairs, myself and Barbara Selden.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. In addition, we always feed the people we like, and we always give them a monetary award. Thank you, sir. And lastly, we'd like to have something for him to put in his office to remember us, how much we like him. And so this says the Dunham Ray Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 2645 and its auxiliaries Law Enforcement First Responder Award presented to Chief Elvin V. Barren, Southfield Police Chief, in recognition of your excellent leadership and dedicated service. I know that's true, because when we go to the police department on 9/11 and feed them, told you we like to feed people, they love their chief. That speaks volumes when you got a leader and his people love him. okay? So your excellent leadership and dedicated service to the city of Southfield, its communities, its residents, and its businesses through community policing and crime prevention. We honor you as our 2023 and 2024 Law Enforcement First Responder of the Year. Today, January 18th, 2024.
All right, thank you.
Let's have a big hand for him, come on. We have one other person that would, is not on program, but we want this person to be on program. Here again, someone who really esteems you and thinks a lot of you. Mayor Kenson Cyber.
Congratulations, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor.
As many of you know, I've been in the community a long time, 57 years. I think I've lost track of the number of chiefs that I've worked with, but I think 6 or 7. I'm not taking anything away from any of them. They each had their own style and the way they ran the department. But this man here is a cut above. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And one of the things that, Aaron, couldn't agree with you more, the things you said. I've noticed the difference in the department's morale since you've come, which is very, very important. And the things that you've done to improve the department, I think it's very telling that you had the support of the rank and file of the department. But besides the things that have already been said, I want to say that one of the things that I really, really appreciate about Chief Barren, actually there's more than one, but certainly it's his communication. We don't have to ask what's happening. He tells us. It's very, very transparent. Other chiefs were not as transparent, and that's greatly appreciated. But I think one of the most valuable things about our chief is that he's one of us. He shows up. He lives here. Other chiefs did not attend community events. This man is at virtually everything. And it's very important. And we have, I can't say enough about the Southfield Police Department. It's a very hard job, and especially when you're dealing with as many domestic violence cases as we have, and you walk into these situations where emotions are high. I appreciate the men and women of the department tremendously. But it really starts with the chief and the example that he sets, and the fact that he's highly visible. We haven't had a chief that's shown up and is present in the community as Chief Barren. So I know that I speak for the council and the administration how much we appreciate you and the job that you're doing here. There was a year or two ago, somebody was trying to steal our chief away. I read this in the Free Press, I think. I'm picking up the paper, and I immediately called him. It was before 8 o'clock in the morning, and I told him, I'm coming over, I'm going to get a pair of handcuffs and chain you to your desk. You can't leave us. So greatly appreciate you and all you've done for the department, but also for the VFW. Thank you for honoring a really extraordinary chief, and this award is well deserved. So thank you all.
Thank you, Mayor.
Stay there. Commander, oh my commander, you're up next. He's enjoying that dinner. This is Commander Don Kuffner. He is the commander of our local post here, 2645, and he'd like to have some words as well.
Well, congratulations, Chief.
Thank you, sir.
I really appreciate the dedication and the work that Janora has put into putting together this event. If it wasn't for her, all this fancy stuff probably wouldn't exist. We're a simple bunch of guys, yeah. Well, the whole auxiliary group has really put together a good team, and I really appreciate what the chief has done in his short time here. I go to Sam's Club a lot, and I see that our gentlemen that we see in the back, if you look at their armament, when I was in Vietnam, we didn't even have that much gear. You know, so you can appreciate what the yeah, well, I was in the Navy, but
Go Navy.
go Navy, right. But when I grew up as a child here in Southfield, back in the 40s, a police officer only had to wear a shirt, he had a little patch on the side, and he had a badge. And now look what they have to wear just to guard Sam's Club. You know?
Do you blame them?
No. Who wants that job? Do we pay them enough money?
No.
No. I mean, they better get a good pension out of this. Because I'll tell you what, being a police officer today is not an easy task. With the technology of cell phones and everybody taking pictures of you, if you say the wrong thing, if you do the wrong action, if you didn't have a body cam to prove that you're right, and you were doing things right, we'd be in terrible shape. That's how much our society has changed over the years. But thanks to the chief, our guys are more prepared, much more prepared. And I really appreciate the fact that he's looking after their health. Thank you,
sir.
Chief.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. He had 9 jobs. I got a busy schedule.
Okie dokie, without further ado, Chief Elvin Barren.
All right. So I do want to start off really acknowledging the VFW Post, for really putting this together and identifying me as the first responder of the year. I truly appreciated the hard work that went into the decorations, the food, even the cake with my name on it. So give them a round of applause. So many people in the room I want to thank. I'm going to start off with Mr. Zorn, the city administrator. Coming into this city was different. I was coming from another organization, a lot of things going on. Who was this guy? Is he going to destroy the reputation of the Southfield Police Department? A lot of pressure was on the city administrator about this selection of this person. But he hung in there. He knew what he wanted. He wanted change. We had a great talk. He did vet me very well. And I said, I'm going to make the changes that you so desire. And fast forward almost 5.5 years, we've done a good job. It's been a great team as we communicate what's the best thing for this police department. So, Mr. Zorn, thank you for having confidence in me and selecting this police chief. And then I transitioned to the mayor. Since day one, again, everybody had their own time, me coming in here to get to know me. The mayor right away support, right away bringing me into community meetings, making sure that I get to know the right people so they'll understand who I am, and to minimize some of the talk. And so, but great support from the mayor, great friendship from the mayor over this almost 5 years, and I do not take that for granted. We've been a great team, you know that, putting out a lot of fires together. But again, thank you, Mayor. Give the mayor a round of applause. You talk about our city council. Again, another avenue of support. When you talk about the equipment that the police officers wear, the pay raises they got very recently, all these things is the support of our council. So our council, Councilman Banks, Councilman Brightwell, even our newest councilman, where's she at? Where's Ms. Haynes? Our newest councilman, thank you for being on board as well. So thank you. Thank you for our council. And as I keep going, I'm going to keep touching this community. will please, the Chiefs Advisory Board, please stand up. The Chiefs Advisory Board, please stand up. You know, this advisory board meets with me on a monthly basis. So we took a little bit of time out for the holidays. We're going to start back our meetings at the end of the month. But this advisory board has been dynamic. It's been things that we've talked about on our meetings. Oh, please have a seat. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's been things that we talk about in our meetings, and I'm able to use some of the things that you suggest to move forward with these community engagement efforts. And so for our advisory board, give them a round of applause as well. As I transition over to the folks right there in the back of this room, the Southfield police officers. I am ineffective if the men and women in this organization do not follow my lead. I become ineffective. And then Mrs. Zorn would have to have that courageous conversation with me. Chief, it ain't working out because you can't lead the troops. But these troops, they understand the vision of the police department. They understand why we do things. And I do a lot of explaining to them, communicating with them so they know why. It's a rationale behind, and they accept it. So give them another round of applause for moving this case forward. And then the out branch of the police department is my community relations team. They work very close with me. Matter of fact, when I open up my door, I see Simon and Buckberry sitting right out there. So we're there, Simon and Buckberry. Buckberry, please stand up. You know, the community relations is important, and they understand the reasons why we go to these events on weekends. They sacrifice a lot of their time just as much as me. I know Mayor mentioned me sacrificing time, but the community officers do the exact same thing, and even some of the officers from the shift who in between runs will stop out and do a birthday celebration for a 5-year-old who's wanting to see police officers. And so these things are important because what we talked about before is very difficult being a police in today's society. But when you get officers like that, it helps chip away and change that narrative. So thank you all for what you do. I do want to recognize Miss Timms, you know, with the Southfield Latham Village Optimist Club, and Miss Timms spends a whole lot of time giving back to our youth. This will be the third year of her youth mentoring programs, which is a beautiful display of talent that's unveiled: dance, theater, poetry. She brings those things out, and so sometimes I think she gets underrated when it comes to these programs, but they're dynamic. Ms. Timms, please stand up and be recognized. Just a few more people, and then, you know, but this is important. It's important. It's the reason why I stand here in front of you all talking about support. As I glance over, there's a man named Mr. George H.U., who you all know is a business owner here for over 40 years, 40 or 50 years, George? 55 years. George has been very supportive of the police department. These officers know George. They would go to his store. He's since retired and sold the store. But George always shows up for our events, our promotions, our community gatherings, and then even showed up to recognize me tonight. So George, give him a round of applause. I got somebody that works in my office. As I say, the chief, I'm just a figurehead. The person who runs the police department is standing right back there. Her name is Shandira Dawson. So Shan, again, I appreciate you, the things that you've done, a close friendship over these years. And again, I know you was like, who is this guy? But you gave me a chance as well coming through the door. And we've been a dynamic team as well. So give Shan a round of applause. I got two deputy chiefs. One couldn't be here today, but one you heard from already. And so the deputy chiefs, they stand side by side with me, pushing the organization's goals forward, and they come up with ideas too. It's not all just me. It's a collaborative effort. When you talk about the ideas that formulating a crisis intervention, our own CISM team, where our officers get to have an avenue to go to relieve their stress. That was that man's idea. I just pushed it forward. So I can go on and on again about the ideas that's come from the police officers, bring ideas to me, because when I got here, what I found, I said, I can't be the only one coming up with ideas. I need folks to step up And then they did it right away, and ideas start flowing in, and that's how we get to be a dynamic organization. So thank you, Deputy Chief. Y'all always see me out in the community with my bodyguard. I gotta have a bodyguard, but he's always there for me. Jared Wamble, please stand up. We both serve in the city of Detroit together. Jared did 10 years, and he left Detroit and came to Southfield, and then has moved up in the organization, a sergeant, and certainly sitting on the list to soon to be a lieutenant. So give him a round of applause for that. And so it's very good to have that kind of support, giving me an idea of what's happening in the organization, and then, again, being my bodyguard, because everybody don't like the chief everywhere, but he makes sure I'm so safe. So thank you, Jerry. And then where's Rosemary at? So we do a lot of events. Rosemary serves as a minister and chaplain, and she does a lot of singing for us. Because every time we do a promotion, I say, Rosemary, I need you to sing the national anthem, whether it's a promotion ceremony or whether it's our memorial where we recognize our 2 fallen officers. Rosemary, give Rosemary a round of applause. And then, and here's what I'll say also. In policing, generally, that's why I like the change that I've seen in these officers. So in the history of policing, not just here in Southfield, again, I know police officers from different states, different cities, and what happens is there's always a line between their families and the job. But over the last 3 years, I've saw that change where you see a lot of the families coming into our events. In fact, you see Kelly Buckberry's daughter sitting right there, who always, stand up, you recognize, stand up. And she's one of many. She's a sister who always couldn't be here tonight because she had class tonight. Mama said, no, I know you love the chief, but you're going to class tonight. But just a system of our officers bringing their children to our Christmas events. And they're volunteering their time and contributing to giving gifts to the community. Our Halloween events. Simon brings his whole family. It just go on and on. He got 2 twins. Get up in a round of applause for 2 twins. And as I close, I do want to recognize Miss Barbara Selden. Miss Barbara Selden. Miss Selden. I remember the first time I engaged Miss Selden. We were on a walk. It was the mayor's July 4th Magnolia Parade. Yeah, true. And Miss Selden started singing hymns as we were marching, and she captivated us.
But that isn't the whole story. I'm going to tell you the truth. There's a handsome young man standing next to me, not in uniform, looking like a kid, with this bullhorn and introducing everybody. And I'm looking at him, who are you? He said, I'm Elvin Barren. He said, you're the chief of police? Give me that bullet. Ladies and gentlemen. You don't know the person that's standing next to me, that's our chief of police. And I said, OMG. See, this is the kind of person who doesn't need a uniform to define who he is. Yes. He gets out there in that community and he walks with us. If you didn't know it, you would have thought he was just another Joe citizen. And that's how I met him. And ever since then, I just think he was a little kid.
So give her a round of applause. Thank you. And I would be remiss if I didn't recognize the chief of police for the city of Oak Park, who's joined us, taking the time out of his day. A great collaborative effort, because we share a lot of boundaries. We share some crime. We share some community. A lot of concerns that happened very recently in the Jewish community, and so we had to communicate daily for those interactions, and our officers working together to resolve and hold some folks accountable. So give Director Steve Cooper a round of applause. And again, appreciate you all. And Cable 15, thank you for being here as well. Yes, sir.
I want to see you in Lansing.
Yes, sir.
You know, some people would have been a little annoyed or a little bored with all the things we did tonight and the talking and the thank yous and recognizing this one and recognizing that one. But I've had a good time. I've had a really good time. And you need times like this when you can acknowledge one another, encourage one another, and just, be a support for one another. I'm really proud to be associated with each person in this room because we're all working to do a part to build a better community. So give yourself a round of applause. And my co-chair this year was Barbara Selden, and I had some health challenges in the fall. Barbara did everything. People are used to me doing everything, but Barbara did everything for tonight. And all the paperwork that, goes with recommending Chief Menasfee, putting everything on together. She's a hard worker, she's a good friend, and she's an awesome comrade. Thank you, Barbara. This concludes our program, and we're going to ask Lonnie from the VFW here to close us with prayer, and then we're going to dismiss you for the evening. Of course, you can hang around and have some more fellowship. I can tell you're really enjoying each other. Lonnie? Oh, also, there's a big cake in the back that says, Chief Barren, top cop. So, dig in. There's all kinds of cake and everything. We're going to cut it. Lonnie?
Father God, we thank you for this opportunity to get together with the community. We thank you for this opportunity to recognize and honor the very important part of the community. Father God, we ask that you bless each and every one in attendance here. Guide them on their way home. Keep them safe and keep them on the path. This and all other blessings we ask in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. Please remain standing for the retiring of the colors. Comrade, our team.